It is the Mountaineers Now post-game show presented by Country Roads Air Duct Cleaning. Take me home to comfort. St. John's winners in the Big East Big 12 battle over West Virginia 79-73. It is the fourth straight win for the Johnnies over the Mountaineers. And quick look here at the numbers. Jesse Edwards doing his normal 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks in limited action. He battled foul trouble for much of the evening, particularly in the second half. Quinn Slazinski stepped up, and after he settled in those first couple of minutes, bounced back pretty strong, had 19 points, 7 boards, and obviously for St. John's, the big guy going into this game was going to be the factor, and turned out to be, and that's Joel Soriano, 24 points and 9 rebounds. West Virginia as a team shot 31 of 43 from the charity stripe, 15 of 17 at the half. They got more opportunities at the line, but couldn't cash in. And Chris, once again, it's same story, different night. This team plays well, plays hard for about 30 or so minutes, and then the wheels just kind of fall off when they run out of gas.
Yeah, fatigue settles in every single game, and really when it comes down to the big crucial offensive rebounds they give up, it's just tied legs. Guys are kind of crashing into them down there late, and they just don't have the strength at times to keep that distance from the rim. They kind of get pushed on the basket at times. Teams are taking advantage in every aspect. They're playing more aggressive on both ends of the floor to try to draw fouls, get them frustrated, make them reach on the defensive end, and that's essentially what you're seeing. It was a very inconsistent called game. And Eilert did as well. You got to credit Patino on that. Kind of the old Bob Huggins press Virginia, just go in there and beat up teams. I mean, what are they going to do? You're 12 deep rolling into this game. So, yeah, it really is the story every single night. I wouldn't say the wheels fall off, other than their legs are about to fall off. They're just exhausted.
Literal wheels will fall off.
I don't, maybe there's another team out there, but you have 3 guys averaging 33 minutes or more a game. That's unheard of. So I don't really, it's frustrating for Eilert. That was the most vocal I've seen him on the sidelines. He was obviously not pleased with the officiating, but these guys are putting in everything they can, and that's really all you can ask for from a fan perspective. You like to see the wins, but don't know really what answers they could possibly come up with at this point. They're playing zone on defense to try to save legs. They try to slow it down and pick their spots in transition. Really, offensively, all you can really ask for more is maybe a little bit more efficiency in running plays. And I think, maybe when Kirk Kriisa comes back, maybe you'll see that efficiency. But right now, they're just struggling at guard against, good teams. And that's not a surprise considering not lack of depth, but nothing against Kobe or Seth, but they're just not really talented enough to be starters. Seth could probably be a starter shooting guard, depending on who's around him. But what he's asked, it is really not in his skill set, but really they don't have a choice.
The one guy I feel really bad for outside of Jesse Edwards, because he's got to actually do the labor of the 30-plus minutes a night unless he's in foul trouble, is Pat Sumnick, because I actually feel if Sumnick is in a position to where he's playing the role he's intended to play, I think he's actually a pretty decent glue guy for this team. I don't know that he's a 10.6 rebound guy, but he kind of gives you that Gabo Saboyan type-ish feel. Maybe not quite to that extent, but I think he could be a really solid player. But when he's being asked to be the backup center, I mean, it's a tough task. And we saw it tonight. As soon as Sumnick goes in at the 5, I mean, they're just throwing the ball down to Soriano time and time again. Guards are penetrating right in his direction, and there's nothing that he can really do because he's not as quick enough to move his feet laterally, and he's not going to hold up against a guy like Joel Soriano either.
Yeah, and Pat really shouldn't be your second option in that situation. He's a guy that, hey, maybe we can bring in, provide a little spark, maybe still play 8 to 10 minutes for the full roster. And that might be pushing it. You can use them at times like you have the last couple of years, but yeah, it's just one of those situations where you're asking another kid to play above his skill set, and yeah, it's nothing against Pat, but that's a good center that they have, and that's going to be a good St. John's team. Listen to Patino the last couple of days. They're kind of like where West Virginia was last year. I would say this year too, but where they've just brought in a bunch of people and they're learning to play together. It sounded, kind of a little bit refreshing to hear an old school coach. He was kept talking about their defense and how bad they were defensively. But they played hard tonight on the defensive end. So hearing old Rip Pitino again kind of brought back some memories, but wish you could kind of grab that one. But that's going to be a pretty good St. John's team throughout the year. They'll be inconsistent, but wouldn't be surprised if they're in the NCAA tournament when it's all said and done.
Absolutely. I mean, they were picked, I think, fifth in the preseason poll in the Big East, and that's a very tough league. So JoJo Harris, he had 10 points on 3 or 4 shooting tonight. He also had 8 rebounds. Kobe Johnson, 14 points. Seth Wilson, he got the start tonight instead of Ofri Neve, but boy, he could not hit anything. 0 for 11 on the night. I don't know that it really matters which way you go with this starting lineup, whether it's Seth, whether it's Ofri. It seems like they get better minutes out of Seth off the bench. I don't know if that's his comfortability from last year, but it's not really going to change much until you get Kirk Risa back. We sound like a broken record, but this offense will look night and day when he comes back. And it'll look night and day immediately, I believe, because not only is he going to be able to facilitate the rock, but he's going to be able to make shots himself, which they really haven't had that kind of dynamic threat at the point position yet. And it's right now, it's just really about getting to that point where he can come back. I don't know what they're going to do over these next couple of games. But speaking of the Backyard Brawl, this is going to be a much improved Pitt team, one that is probably Jeff Capel's best, I would say. I haven't done a deep dive on them yet, but they
They're
clearly
they're,
see
they're okay. They're
well,
okay. Watch them play Missouri the other day. They're okay.
but
They're
I
no
mean,
they're nothing to hang.
Pitt has
They've
been
been bad,
down
but they're
bad for
not.
years.
I
So
would
this
say they're
is
about where they were last year. They're not. They're not. They're okay.
so for West Virginia to win the Backyard Brawl. I don't know that they need 40 free throws, but I think they need to do a little bit better job on the glass. A big part of that is keeping Jesse Edwards in the game. Um, any keys for you for that one?
Make shots.
Make more shots than they do. That's
That's
typically
pretty
how
much all I got. I mean, they're not shooting well, and I mean that's all you can really do is just make shots. But you got to get better look shots. And you mentioned Seth; he just had a horrendous, absolutely terrible game. But yeah, Kerr may bring it. I'd like to see. Kobe's done a great job driving the paint and scoring around the rim at times. But what you'll get with Kerr is he'll be able to get the edge and drive consistently and pull guys up. So it's wish you got him back for Pitt. Wish you had him the whole time, but they're still going to have a lot of challenges when he gets back. But it'll definitely lighten the load uh, in the backcourt and will most definitely uh, find better offense. I think he'll be able to find uh, the open shooters, get Jesse the ball a little bit more in the paint, and I think Quinn. He's playing. To me, he's playing really well. Um, and I think Quinn will really be able to excel his game as well with Kerr in there because that way he can kind of pick his spots where he's not trying to create so much driving the lane. And really, if it hasn't been for Quinn, you kind of look at this team and yeah, Jesse's getting the points, but Quinn's kind of helping balance that out a little bit. So yeah, it's all about Kerr. Try to get some legs, and hopefully, with all the ridiculousness with the NCAA, we can see Raekwon battle at some
Yeah,
point.
that would be a very pleasant surprise and welcome for sure. And who knows? Josh Schuyler didn't necessarily rule out a return for a cook, but again, we've talked about this off camera a lot. I don't know. I think you said I don't know what doctor would clear him, but
Yeah, I
that's
know Bronny James just got cleared. Different
that is
situation.
true. Yeah,
A Cook has a heart condition already. So prior to this, so I mean, I'm not, obviously I'm not a doctor, no idea what all goes into that, but I would think it'd be hard for a doctor to allow him to play, this season, with that medical condition. But I mean, they can run the test and give it a go. That he would most definitely be welcomed, and with open arms for on the bench, on the court, Mountaineer fans everywhere. Because yeah, Quinn and Jesse need some rest.
Yes, they do. So that'll do it. St. John's again, winners over West Virginia 79-73 in the Big East Big 12 showdown, or Big 12, Big East Big 12 battle, whatever they call it. They change the name of this thing every 2 years, I swear. But Mountaineers will be back in action Wednesday night, 9 o'clock tip off. It's a late one on ESPN2 against the Pitt Panthers in the Backyard Brawl. We'll have that one covered for you as well. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube at Mountaineers Now, and give us a follow on X at the same handle. For Christopher Hall, I'm Schuyler Callihan. You've been watching the Mountaineers Now postgame show. We'll be talking to you Wednesday night following the Brawl.